Okay. So let's go to the next one. So the next one was given to be 3z squared is equal to 7z minus 1. That was how it was. Well, I had already worked out originally or initially how this thing was. So having seen that this is 3z squared is equal to 7z minus 1, okay, 7z minus 1, well, you need to make sure that all of these things are on the same side. That is, the z, 7z, and the negative 1, the minus 1 here, should be crossed over to this side. So once they're crossed over to this side, you're going to see that the signs are going to change. This is a positive 7z, so when it's crossed this side, it's going to be a negative 7z. This is negative 1, so when you cross it this side, this is going to be a positive 1. When all of these things go, it's like you're going to be left with nothing on this side. Hence, that's why we are putting the 0 value just that side. Okay? So again, like we had initially established in the first question, your a is always that variable, or better let me say that constant, that is always coupled with the z squared or x squared or a squared. So basically anything that is just going to be having z squared, or the square here, the coefficient is always your a. B, of course, is not just like 7. No, it's not going to be 7. You're going to see that the 7 here is having a negative, so that's negative 7. And your C value is just going to be equal to 1. Same thing. Initially, in the previous problem, we noticed that we had x, because x was something that we were working out. If you notice, this was like 3x squared plus 5x. There was x everywhere. So because there was x, we chose to express the quadratic formula in terms of x. But in this problem, you're going to see that we are not having x here, we are having z. So let your quadratic formula be expressed in terms of z, not x. So same thing, z is equal to negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a, everything over 2a. The negative is already part of the formula, so be sure to observe signs here. Someone, when trying to replace or trying to substitute here, someone can just go directly and just says negative 7, not forgetting that there is already a negative sign there. No, right? So the better way in which we can write this thing is negative, and then you open your brackets and then you write your negative 7. We all know that anytime your negative expression is being multiplied by another negative expression, the outcome is always positive. That is, negative times negative is positive. So that's the whole reason why the 7 is being expressed as a positive here. Again, notice this is going to be negative 7 squared. So here is a caution again. You know, calculators might be allowed when handling these problems, but at times the way you use your calculator is important. Listen, there is a big difference when you write negative 7 squared and negative 7 squared. There is a big difference. This expression here is just the same as writing negative and then you say 7 squared. This is just the same as writing this. And these two things are very, very different. In this one, the negative is outside. But in this one, you're going to see that the negative has followed the 7 in the inside. So 7 squared, as we all know, that's just 49, a positive. But because there is this negative, your value is still just going to be negative 49. So even if you punch on the calculator, just say negative 7 squared, that's going to be very wrong. But unfortunately, when we're talking about this guy, the negative is inside, which means that it's going to be affected in the same way as the 7 here. So negative 7 squared, that's just like negative 7 times negative 7, that is just going to give you positive 49. So you see, here it gave you negative 49. In this problem here, it's giving you positive 49. So be sure to know the difference between these two. So when you're punching these things on your calculator, negative 7 squared minus 4, 3, 1, your answer is just going to be that 7. 2 times 3, your 2a. Your a value is 3, so 2 times 3, that's just going to be 6. Alright? And then, again, the square root of 37 here is not necessarily a whole number. Alright? It's not necessarily a whole number. The perfect square that is close to 37 is 36. And the square root of 36 is 6 point something. Well, let me just say it's exactly 6. So approximating this thing, maybe it can be 6 point something. But again, that does not work with guesses. So what you can do here is that you can actually split this thing up like we did in the previous video. Positive, negative. One positive here, the other one negative there. You split this thing up. Work these things out on your calculator. Work this thing out on your calculator as well. So notice, when you're punching these things on your calculator, don't just say 7. Let me show it to you. That is, when you're punching these things, someone can be like 7 plus, what's the value there? 7 plus root of 37. And then divide by 6. Someone can punch this thing directly, but that's wrong. If you're going to punch these things directly on your calculator, can you at least try to put this in brackets? And then you say divide by 6. Because if you just go in this way, it's like you are first sorting out this thing, and then you add it to the 7, which is exactly wrong. But when you put your brackets, you're actually telling them that you're sorting out firstly what is inside, and then you divide by the 6 that is down there. So never just try to write these things on your calculator like 7 plus root of 37 divided by 6 continuously. That's going to be very, very wrong. So be sure to put your brackets. So 7 plus root of 37 divided by 6 in that way. Once you do that, if you round it off to two decimal places, you're going to see that this is 2.18. Or Z will be equal to, again, 7 minus root of 37 over 6. Never just write it like this. You're going to get it wrong. Rather, try to put these things first in your brackets, and then you can punch them on your calculator directly. Remember, BODMAS here is a very, very important, mostly neglected, but very, very important principle when you're making your evaluations. It's not just like division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. There is a B here, and your B is your brackets, which means that when you're sorting this problem out, when you introduce your brackets, then you're showing them that you are first starting with these things. So the brackets here have much more priority than the division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So watch out for this guy. Once you do that, then that's it. Your Z is just going to be equal to 0.15. And if you follow through, perhaps even taking note of the guidelines which have been given you on what to do, brackets and everything like that, then let me just say you're going to be okay. if you see it is in a way that it was rearranged. Remember, these two things were not in the same side, they are on different sides of the equation. You know this. We don't just say A and then B and then C just like that. You need to make sure that these expressions are all on the same side before you deduce that which is going to be your A, that which is going to be your B, or that which is going to be your C. So the analysis equation needs to be very simple. So that's it. I hope you